It's that time again, folks, for the lower division roundup. You saw some of the highlights for my lower division top 10 video, which if you haven't seen that, go watch it now! It's a great video. And now we'll be discussing the rookies, young guns, and rising stars to look out for after this tournament. I have a link of a spreadsheet down in the description below if you're interested in seeing all of the Rikshi I'm covering here, because I can't cover all of them in just one video. We'll be starting from the very bottom and making our way to the top down in Jonidan. In my preview for the Aki Basho, I was excited to see a lot of young men who were coming off of 6-1 records from lower Jonidan, but was concerned about who would actually come out with winning records. As it turns out, they all either had 4-3 or 3-4 records, with the unfortunate Aaron eating a 2-5 from his career high of Jonidan 11. The winners of this division, and the only person at 6-1, was 17-year-old Kiyonohana from Jonidan 67. He was out because of COVID nonsense at the July Basho, so his leap up to the top of the division will look nice for him, as long as he doesn't follow up with a 4-3 like all the other guys I'm about to name. From the top of this 5th division, the winners include Tokyo University graduate Arise, the 16-year-old twins Hayashiryu and Rinko, Yoshino, 5-2 for 17-year-old Mogami Zakura. These last two men I named fell from Sandamme, so hopefully they just get back up there. 16-year-old Zuiten Ryu, and 5-2 records for Chiyoreshi, Tatsuosho, Ito, and finally from Jonidan 107, a 4-3 record for Dai Tenshin, the 17-year-old. Especially for these younger guys, it's hard to gauge if they will get over these growing pains and speed bumps, and that's why it's hard for me to take anyone off the list. Mogami Zakura, for example, had two 2-5 records in a row from May and July, but he got a 5-2 here and is only 17 years old, so perhaps his next round in Sandamme, he'll have more experience and a better time. But for someone like Chiyoreshi, who has had mixed results for the past 2 years he's been in sumo, he's more likely to not be tracked. Overall, a quiet and unimpressive 5th division for my young guns, but let's see what the 4th division has in store for us. Sandamme, a division full of rising Jonidan stars and falling Makushita men. It is one of the toughest to escape from as a rookie, but we have some impressive scorelines that would suggest otherwise. No Yusho winners on my list, but the men who went 6-1 include Koto Shoho's brother, Koto Tebakari, Chuo University graduate Kaze Keno with his 3rd straight 6-1 record, Maru Sho, who might be running out of time to be considered a young gun at 21 years old and still stuck in the 4th division, and Toseiryu, who, I just mentioned age, despite being 23 years old, only joined sumo this March, so we'll let him slide. 6-1 records for all of these guys is very impressive, and for some of them we will be seeing their debuts in the 3rd division. 5-2 and 4-3 winners are as follows. Daiho, who hopes to return to the Makushita division. Hanafusa, Kyoda, Moji, Mudoho, who also hopes to return to that 3rd division, Kumanoryu, Murayama, Koto Kenryu, who is Koto Tebakari's stablemate, 17-year-old Shunrai, 16-year-old Tanji, Go Seiryu, and Wakamiyabi. The men in danger of coming off of my list because of losing records and consistent poor performances across the past year include Akiyoshi, who has not been able to return to the 3rd division since reaching his peak of Makushita 56 in January. Naya, who, despite having a more successful brother in Oho, is also struggling to perform at the top of the 4th division. Ogasho, who seems to be peaking in mid-Sandamme, and Toki Tora, who I actually took off of probation for his 6-1 in July, but turns around and gets a 2-5. I'll be honest, tracking less guys will be easier to keep track of these guys, but I want everyone to succeed. I've said it before in my sumo streams, which you can catch live here on my YouTube channel. You can catch the whole basho here, and I've said it many times. I want to watch all of these men succeed, but You know, sometimes they just can't. The third division is the most competitive and as a result the most exciting. In my preview for the lower divisions, I hyped up the new recruit in Kawazoe, who entered sumo at Makushita 15 Tsukedashi for his success in collegiate sumo. And now he had 2 matches in my top 10 list of the lower division, which you should go watch. He only went 4-3, but in his first basho in Grand Sumo, that is definitely not bad. He was exciting to watch and is sure to be a new fan favorite if he can consistently find wins. Big winners at 6-1 are only the previously struggling Nabatame, who I'm still hesitant to take off probation due to his slow fall from his peak of Makuchita 20 and his age. But there's still hope for him yet. Enough of that aside. And the other 6-1 being 18-year-old Seto Naomi, who is coming off of 3 straight 5-2 records from the 4th division. His debut was incredible, and I can't wait to see more from him. Other winners include Fuji Seiyun, who will be inching closer to that 2nd division, Ukrainian Shishi, my man Ishizaki, Dewa Noryu, Kanzaki, who has slowed down since his intro to sumo with his 2nd consecutive 4-3 record, Hakushoku University graduate Fujitoshi, Hayate Fuji, my other man Miyagi, Fukai, Nihon Yanagi, and another debutante in Hatsuyama, who is at Makushita 60. The very lowest you could be. A lot of slow risers will hopefully see new career highs, whereas some of my favorites who reached their career high struggled immensely this tournament, namely Mukai Nakano and Kiryuko with 2-5 and 3-4 records respectively. For both of them, this was their first losing record in their entire career, so I'm not too worried and I hope to see them both bounce back immediately. Also unfortunate is Suguro being out for injury after his 6-1 from Sandamme back in July, as well as Nobehara, who dipped from the tournament midway after losing his first 2 matches. I can only hope that they recover from whatever is ailing them, because they are a great force inside the dojo, and I would hate to never see them as a Sekitori being held back by injury. Finally, we have Judo Division, the 2nd division right before the big boys at the very top. We have a lot of crazy impressive results, but most important is our debut Yusho winner, Tochi Musashi, with an 11-4 record. He showed some solid sumo even in his losses, and hopefully this was not just one strike of lightning, because he looked fantastic. Fellow rookies in Hokuseiho, Keen Bozan, and Oshoma also had their winning records at 9-6, 10-5, and 8-7 respectively, while Gonoyama earned a 6-9 from Judo 12 and hopefully doesn't fall back down to the 3rd division. Judo is soon to fill up with more of these rising stars, and I hope they can all succeed so our transition to the next class of dominant sumo wrestlers is as exciting as ever. The total records for this basho, not including Judo, include no 7-0s, 7 6-1s, 15 5-2s, 19 4-3s, 13 3-4s, 8 2-5s, no 1-6s, and 2 0-7s, which were both due to injury, so you can't really fault them there. Overall, it was 248, 186, and 12, or a 57% win rate for all these young guys. An overall great basho for these rising stars, mostly because we had no horrible records, and the only, like I mentioned, only 0-7s were from 2 injured men. By the year's end, I hope we have more of these men flying to new heights and breaking new barriers as they make their way towards the top divisions so they too can one day hoist the Emperor's Cup. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to watch it again, because the most important thing I need right now is watch hours so I can earn monetization on YouTube. The tournaments themselves don't count towards monetization for some reason, so be sure to check out all my other content such as my top 10 videos of the Aki Basho for top and lower divisions, my breakdowns of Tamawashi's Yusho matches, which he was completely dominant in, and a lot more content coming your way. Tell your friends, post it to social media, and help me get as many eyes on my content as we can so I can make it a money. Thank you again, and I will catch you cats later. I can't wink. I can't wink. Ah.